Shivanagabandhana Yogeshwara.
I'm just wondering, if we gave you the 25 leaders or the 187 leaders to lock up for 5 days, when they came out of that room, what are the 3 things that we would notice about them that would be different?
You would notice they would be much more joyful. You can always trust a joyful person, believe me. Yes, because when you're joyful, you will not think of doing anything nasty. That's true with all of you, isn't it? That's true with every human being. But when you're feeling nasty, there's every possibility you will find good reason to do something nasty. Yes, you will find a very good reason to do something nasty. And to be balanced, to be joyful, if these 2 things happen, the 3rd thing will be a consequence that you will use your body and your mind to the best. There is substantial medical and scientific evidence to show that if you're in a pleasant state of experience, then your intelligence and your physiology functions at its best. There is lots of medical evidence today to show that for 24 hours, which has not happened to most human beings, for 24 hours if you spend without a moment of anxiety or agitation or irritation or stress or anything, simply blissed out for 24 hours. If you stay like this, they say your intellectual capacity would increase almost 100% in 24 hours' time. So, we could do with little more sense on the planet, for sure, and we could do with little more joy.
I agree. So Annette cannot deliver the 187 leaders, but Annette, you could deliver Jim Kim and his management team, so that's my proposal for you.
No, she's setting the bar. She's setting the bar to an impossible level. I'm saying if these 25 people come, others will simply follow.
Thank you so much for coming. You were saying, if you live your life based on what accumulated in the past, so you can't go beyond, right? So my question is, how can you go beyond?
See, let's understand what is beyond right now. Right now, your entire experience of life is being gathered through the 5 senses of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. Everything that you know, all judgments that you make is coming from the information that you've gathered through 5 senses. These 5 senses gather information in a very fragmented way, in the sense, if you see this part of my hand, you cannot see this part of my hand. If I show you this, you can't see this. This is not just with my hand, even with a grain of sand it's true. If you perceive one part, you can't perceive the other. And you know everything only by comparison. When I say comparison, suppose you were a tall person, that is, you were 6 feet tall. Now you stand like a tall person, you walk like a tall person, you think like a tall person, you feel like a tall person, you are a tall person. You went to another society where everybody is 8 feet tall. Suddenly you stand like a short person, walk like a short person, think like a short person, feel like a short person, and you are a short person. So what I am saying is, what you perceive in comparison is not perception, it's a distortion of reality. It is good enough for survival in a particular situation, but you don't know anything about anything around you because you perceived everything only as it is relevant to your survival. To such an extent, you do not even know what is light and darkness. That's insulting, isn't it? You seen an owl, the bird, the owl? If you and an owl sat together and started an argument as to which is light and which is darkness, where would it go? Endless argument. I'm asking who is right? You or the owl? Who is right? Both, huh? If you're saying both, either you're in the diplomatic corps or you have a successful marriage. You learn to say both to everything, otherwise you won't survive. I am asking which is the truth, which is light, I'm asking. You don't really know, that's a fact of the matter. What you see as light, somebody else is seeing as darkness. What is day for you is night for somebody else, isn't it? And there are more night creatures on this planet. Just if you hold an election and if you gave everybody a franchise, the night creatures will win hands down because their numbers are huge, all right? So, what I'm saying is your sense organs are good enough instruments for survival. But once you come as a human being, survival is not good enough, isn't it? Till it is taken care of, it's a big issue. Once it's taken care of, doesn't mean anything. Because for every other creature, there's only one issue for them. Stomach full, life settled for them. But for a human being, stomach empty, only one problem, food. Stomach full, 100 problems. Yes, who has more problems, poor or the rich? The rich have complex problems, poor have only one problem, food. They truly believe this one thing is taken care of, everything is settled. Only when it is settled, they know it is not so because the nature of the human being is like this. For every other creature, their life ends with fulfillment of survival process. For a human being, life begins only after survival process is taken care of. So, what is beyond is in many different ways. The simple thing is this, these five sense organs, because they're survival instruments, the moment you were born, they came awake. You could see, you could hear, you could smell and all this stuff. But anything beyond survival, unless you strive, it'll not come into your life. So this striving to know beyond sense perception has not happened to a large segment of humanity because that's been taken out of our education systems. There was a time when that was an important part of growing up in the world. But today we've completely banished that because our entire education system is somehow meshing you into a right shape and size so that you fit into the economic engine. It's a very gross way of running the world. If you're willing to commit 30 hours of focus time, we will give you a vehicle through which you touch something which is beyond sense perception.